Welcome back to our chilling series exploring the haunted corners of the United States, where history and horror intertwine in ways that defy logic and reason. In this sixth episode of Most Haunted Places in the USA, we delve deeper into the shadowy recesses of locations steeped in tragedy, mystery, and the supernatural. These are not just buildings or landmarks. They are vessels carrying the weight of centuries of human emotion, places where sorrow, betrayal, and untimely deaths have left indelible marks on the fabric of reality. From abandoned asylums to battlefields frozen in time, from grand hotels to eerie forests, the haunted places of America tell stories that transcend mere folklore. They serve as reminders that the past is never truly gone. It lingers, waiting for someone brave enough to listen. Each creaking floorboard, each flickering light, and each whispered name carries with it a fragment of a life once lived, a tragedy once endured, or a secret never revealed. These sites are more than destinations. They are portals to another realm, where the boundaries between the living and the dead blur, and the echoes of yesterday reverberate through the corridors of today. In this episode, we'll journey to some of the most infamous haunted places across the country, locales steeped in lore and fear, where the past refuses to stay buried. We'll peer into the shadowy depths of haunted mansions, explore eerie swamps cloaked in mystery, and tread cautiously through abandoned institutions teeming with restless spirits. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of America, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. The Stanley Hotel, elegance entangled with the supernatural, perched majestically atop the hills of Estes Park, Colorado, the Stanley Hotel exudes an air of refined elegance that belies its turbulent history. Established in 1909 by Freeland Oscar Stanley, co-inventor of the Stanley steamer automobile, the hotel quickly became a beacon of luxury and sophistication, attracting affluent travelers seeking respite amidst the breathtaking beauty of the Rocky Mountains. With its sweeping verandas, crystal chandeliers, and meticulously manicured gardens, the Stanley epitomized opulence and exclusivity. Yet beneath its polished veneer lay a darker narrative, one marked by scandal, heartbreak, and unexplained phenomena that would cement its status as one of America's most haunted places. One of the most enduring legends tied to the Stanley Hotel revolves around Room 217, said to be haunted by the spirit of Elizabeth Wilson, a former housekeeper who worked at the hotel during the early 20th century. According to local lore, Elizabeth was cleaning the room when a gas leak caused an explosion, severely injuring her. Miraculously, she survived but bore physical scars that mirrored the emotional ones inflicted by years of servitude. Her ghost is said to linger in room 217, manifesting as a benevolent presence. Guests staying in the room frequently report strange occurrences: lights turning on and off by themselves, radios tuning to static-filled stations, and the overwhelming scent of lavender lingering in the air. Some claim to wake up in the middle of the night to find their bedsheets neatly made, as though Elizabeth were still tending to her duties as hostess. Another prominent figure in the hotel's haunted lore is believed to be Lord Dunraven, an Irish nobleman who originally owned the land upon which the Stanley was built. Paranormal investigators exploring the property have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "This is my home," and "Leave me alone." Witnesses described seeing a shadowy figure resembling Dunraven pacing anxiously near windows, clutching what appears to be a journal before vanishing without a trace. Some speculate that Dunraven remains tethered to the hotel due to his resentment over losing the land, while others believe his spirit seeks to maintain dominion even in death. The Stanley's ballroom, once the site of lavish galas and high society gatherings, has also become a focal point of paranormal activity. Visitors attending events in the space often describe feeling an inexplicable chill, even amidst the warmth of celebration. Musicians performing on stage have reported hearing discordant notes played on phantom instruments, disrupting their melodies mid-performance. On more than one occasion, attendees have sworn they saw couples dancing gracefully across the floor, only to realize there was no music playing and no visible source of illumination casting their silhouettes. Modern-day investigations into the Stanley's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including room 217 and the ballroom. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique furniture pieces believed to have belonged to original owners. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "I'm sorry," and "Let me go." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Stanley continues to draw visitors eager to immerse themselves in its storied past. For those brave enough to book a stay, the possibility of encountering Elizabeth, Lord Dunraven, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its architectural splendor or the thrill of peeling back the layers of its enigmatic history, the Stanley promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. Eastern State Penitentiary, a bastion of despair nestled in the heart of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Eastern State Penitentiary stands as a haunting testament to the failures of America's penal system, a sprawling, Gothic-style fortress that once housed thousands of inmates deemed too dangerous for society. Designed by architect John Haviland and completed in 1829, the prison followed the radical Quaker-inspired philosophy of solitary confinement, intended to encourage penitence and rehabilitation. Its towering stone walls, labyrinthine corridors, and radial layout symbolized innovation and control. Yet beneath its imposing facade lay a darker reality, one marked by overcrowding, neglect, and barbaric practices such as prolonged isolation and physical abuse. By the mid-20th century, Eastern State had become synonymous with suffering, earning its nickname, the world's first true penitentiary. Amid widespread controversy, one of the most pervasive legends tied to Eastern State involves the ghost of Al Capone, the infamous gangster who spent 8 months incarcerated there in 1929. According to local lore, Capone claimed to have been tormented nightly by the spirit of James Clark, a victim of the St. Valentine's Day massacre he orchestrated. His cell, located in cell block 12, is said to harbor residual energy from these encounters, manifesting as faint cries and the sound of gunshots heard late at night. Visitors exploring the abandoned structure report hearing disembodied voices emanating from empty cells, accompanied by the sensation of cold drafts rushing through the corridors. Some claim to see a pale figure crouching in the corner of darkened rooms, his face obscured by shadows. Another prominent figure in Eastern State's haunted lore is believed to be Leo Callahan, a prisoner who escaped the facility in 1923 and was never recaptured. Paranormal investigators exploring the property have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "I'm free," and "They'll never catch me." Witnesses describe seeing a shadowy figure clad in prison garb walking briskly down corridors, his silhouette illuminated by moonlight before vanishing without explanation. Some speculate that Callahan's spirit remains tethered to the prison due to guilt over abandoning his fellow escapees, while others believe his spirit seeks to relive the thrill of freedom. The penitentiary's infirmary, once used for medical treatment and punishment, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area often describe hearing muffled screams and the sound of chains rattling, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a tour guide who swore she saw a group of shadowy figures huddled together in the corner of the room, their faces gaunt and hollow. Theories abound that the infirmary harbors residual energy from countless acts of violence and despair inflicted upon its vulnerable prisoners. Modern-day investigations into Eastern State's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the infirmary and cell block 12. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique medical equipment believed to have been used in unethical procedures. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "Help me," and "I can't breathe." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, Eastern State continues to draw thrill-seekers and historians alike. For those brave enough to explore the ruins, the opportunity to encounter its spectral inhabitants adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its architectural decay or the weight of its tragic legacy, Eastern State promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. The Myrtles Plantation, shadows of betrayal and bloodshed deep in the moss-draped forests of St. Francisville, Louisiana, stands the Myrtles Plantation, a majestic antebellum estate that has earned its reputation as one of America's most haunted homes. Built in 1796 by General David Bradford, the plantation served as both a residence and a hub for social gatherings among the Southern elite. Its sprawling fields, towering oak trees, and elegant architecture evoke a sense of timeless grace, yet within its walls lie stories of betrayal, murder, and vengeful spirits unwilling to fade into obscurity. One of the most infamous incidents tied to Myrtles Plantation occurred in the early 19th century, when a young slave named Chloe allegedly poisoned the family of Judge Clark Woodruff, the plantation's owner, in retaliation for being physically punished. Historical records indicate that Chloe had been caught eavesdropping on private conversations and was subjected to the amputation of one ear as punishment. Seeking revenge, she baked a cake laced with arsenic and served it to the household, killing 2 of Woodruff's children and his wife. When her crime was discovered, Chloe was lynched by other slaves, her body disposed of in the Mississippi River. Since then, visitors to the plantation report seeing a woman in a green turban gliding silently through the halls, her translucent form illuminated by candlelight. Some claim to feel an icy draft pass through them as she drifts by, while others report hearing faint humming emanating from empty rooms, believed to be Chloe tidying up after guests long gone. Another prominent figure in the plantation's haunted lore is believed to be William Drew Winter, a lawyer who purchased the property in the late 1860s. According to family accounts, Winter was shot and killed on the front porch by an unknown assailant, collapsing inside the house and dying on the 17th step of the staircase. His ghost is said to wander the mansion, his ethereal form clad in period attire. Guests visiting the plantation have reported seeing a pale man pacing restlessly near the staircase, his expression frozen in eternal anguish. Others describe hearing faint whispers of prayer and hymns, as though someone is conducting a service. The plantation's surrounding woods, thick with underbrush and towering trees, have also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Visitors walking among the weathered headstones of the cemetery often feel an inexplicable sense of dread, as though unseen eyes are watching their every move. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly observed. Some claim to hear disembodied voices calling out names unfamiliar to modern ears, believed to be the voices of enslaved individuals buried without proper markers. Others report seeing apparitions of men and women in period clothing, their faces gaunt and weary, standing silently amidst the graves. Paranormal investigators exploring Myrtles Plantation have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near the staircase and the cemetery. EVP recordings capture faint whispers pleading for help, interspersed with anguished cries. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing in the doorway of the mansion, its hands raised as if begging for mercy. These findings have solidified the site's reputation as one of America's most active haunted locations. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, Myrtles Plantation continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the sacrifices made in pursuit of justice and freedom. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, Myrtles Plantation offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. The Whaley House, a legacy of tragedy perched in the historic district of San Diego, California, the Whaley House stands as one of America's most haunted landmarks. a Victorian-era masterpiece whose opulent facade conceals decades of tragedy and supernatural activity. Built in 1857 by Thomas Whaley, a prominent merchant and civic leader, the house quickly became a hub for social gatherings, business transactions, and political discourse. With its sweeping staircases, ornate woodwork, and panoramic views of Old Town San Diego, the Whaley House epitomized elegance and sophistication. Yet beneath its polished exterior lay a darker narrative, one marked by scandal, violence, and untimely deaths. One of the most enduring legends tied to the Whaley House revolves around the spirit of James, Yankee Jim, Robinson, a notorious outlaw who was hanged on the property before the house was constructed. According to local lore, Robinson cursed the land as he was executed, vowing to haunt anyone who dared build upon it. His ghost is said to linger in the parlor, manifesting as a faint outline of a man swinging from a noose. Guests touring the house frequently report strange occurrences: lights flickering without cause, disembodied footsteps echoing through the space, and the overwhelming scent of damp earth lingering in the air. Some claim to feel an icy hand brushing against their skin, while others describe seeing apparitions of a man staring mournfully out of upstairs windows. Another prominent figure in the house's haunted lore is believed to be Violet Whaley, the youngest daughter of Thomas and Anna Whaley, whose life ended in tragedy. According to family accounts, Violet fell deeply in love with a Union soldier during the Civil War, a union forbidden by her father. When news of their secret engagement reached him, Thomas forbade the match, prompting Violet to flee the house in despair. She was later found drowned in a nearby river, her body bruised and battered. Since then, visitors to the house report seeing a spectral figure perched precariously on the balcony railing, gazing downward as though contemplating a leap. Others describe hearing faint sobs carried by the wind, accompanied by the splash of water rippling against the riverbanks. The house's basement, once used for storage and laundry operations, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with cleaning the area often describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a maintenance worker who swore he felt cold metal cuffs snap around his wrists, pulling him backward toward the darkness before releasing him abruptly. Modern-day investigations into the Whaley House's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the parlor and the balcony railing. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique furniture pieces believed to have belonged to original owners. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "Help me," and "Don't let go." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Whaley House remains a popular destination for tourists and locals alike. Its picturesque setting and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and leisurely strolls. For those brave enough to venture inside after dark, the promise of encountering Yankee Jim, Violet, or one of the countless other spirits said to linger adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the plantation grounds, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past? Or will they become another chapter in the house's macabre legacy? Patterns across haunted places, themes of suffering and resilience as we traverse the haunted landscapes of America. From the opulent halls of the Stanley Hotel to the somber grounds of Eastern State Penitentiary, striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of hospitals to the shadowed basements of monuments, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of unethical experiments, or the betrayed trust of patients subjected to inhumane treatments, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. As we bring this chilling journey through America's most haunted places to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of America's haunted places yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.